Orale! Bienvenidos and welcome to the Familia FFB podcast bonus coverage with our amigo Dusty Evely. Familia, first off, make sure you're giving us a like and subscribe on YouTube. Por favor. Por favor, keeps our numbers growing. And also, when you go to underdogfantasy.com, make sure you use that promo code Familia23. You're going to get matched up to the first $100. You're going to get a second $100. You're going to be able to play so much best ball between now and the kickoff of the 2023 season. You want to do baseball, you can do daily best ball contests. There's NBA, whatever you want to play. They got it on Underdog. So you know what? We're joined by Dusty Evely from we this is on the heels of our NFL Insider series. You got Dusty at Dusty Evely on Twitter, Cheesehead TV, Packer Report, Pack-A-Day podcast. So I really felt like with Aaron Rodgers leaving the Packers and going to the Jets now. I wanted to get Dusty. I wanted to get your thoughts on kind of where he stands as a quarterback, because it's easy to talk about the fact that 2 years ago or last year he was coming off back-to-back MVP seasons. So now, but he's in his late 30s. Pushing 40, even though he looked great at the Taylor Swift concert. But really the things that you saw last year are that, granted that he was also dealing with an injury to his thumb, which cannot be discounted. But what were the things that made you think, yes, he's still got it, or are things is maybe some that cliff approaching?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's expectations on that I was trying to pump the brakes on before the season, because it was coming off back-to-back MVPs, which played like, I think, back-to-back MVP. I think he certainly earned those in my mind. But it was always going to be the conversation that I was trying to get going, that other people picked up as well, was going to be rocky going into last year. Because it was a whole bunch of Davante Adams was out the door, like his number one wide receiver. Not only his number one wide receiver, the guy they had built a lot of that passing offense off of, a lot of that quick 3-step stuff or the RPO stuff that was built off the unique skill set and mastery of footwork at the line of Davante Adams. And so he was gone. And then, not replaced by, but what they ended up doing then was they went young with the receiver group. They drafted Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. They brought in Sammy Watkins, who did not play well. They brought back Randall Cobb. So, you've got this. So it was always going to be, the hope was that the defense was going to be good enough to keep the early season offense afloat. That was going to be rocky. And then by the time the season went along, the offense was going to, catch up a little bit. Those pieces were going to meld. And again, Christian Watson, again, high draft pick, and then was injured. And then did not see any training camp, didn't practice. So you add that to the rockiness of it. So I think it was a couple different things. You're kind of balancing expectations off of, like, it was back-to-back MVP seasons, but also like this huge sea change in terms of not only like one of his good friends leaving, but in terms of how they structure the passing offense and how you work off of that. So I think what I saw from him, one of the first things to go in quarterbacks typically is the deep ball accuracy. Now, some of the stuff gets real tricky because sometimes you see a deep ball. I talked about this, I think, a couple of years ago on something else. I wrote a big piece, like his deep ball's going. And if you look at what they're running, you look at the concepts, some of those times the wide receiver ran the wrong thing. It's a timing thing, 7-step timing, and you throw that ball and you're based on the leverage of the safety, and the wide receiver runs it wrong. So it looks like you're overshot by 15 yards. And it turns out, no, the wide receiver wasn't where he's supposed to be. That being said, Rodgers missed more than his fair share of deep balls last year. Some of that was the thumb, but he injured that thumb. What was the end of week 5? It was the London game. It was the Giants game when he tried the Hail Mary that did not go anywhere because he broke his thumb. He was missing guys before that. Now, I do think, he still has, his legs are leaving him a little bit, so he can't move as much. He still has zip on the ball. Like, the arm talent is still there. And sometimes his footwork will leave him, which is fine because he's always been so good off platform. But I do think the deep ball is starting to go a little bit, but I still think he's got enough zip on the ball, enough, just the knowledge in his head. He's an extremely smart quarterback. The way he reads the quick game, the way he kind of moves guys with his eyes, not even just the no-look passes he will do, but just the way he will stare a guy down to the last minute to throw a guy open. So, I think he's always been a guy who you thought was going to age not necessarily gracefully, but age, if he stayed healthy, pretty good, because his mind is I think among the top in football in terms of that position. So I think the skill is still there. I think the mind is still there. I think the deep ball again is going a little bit. So maybe that pretends you. I mean, these guys they play. I'm a couple years older than Aaron Rodgers, and like I was digging something in the backyard, and I felt something in my foot pop. He's on the like I don't at any point anything could go, man. Like I don't know how this works. I think the one that more than I think his skill, I think the one thing that has me cautious about him this year, he's never been a guy who's picked up with wide receivers and has been good from the jump. He's always been a guy who's needed time to develop chemistry and needed time in a system. You look at it, even like his first year under LaFleur, you look at when a lot of these guys came in, there's a narrative that Aaron Rodgers hates rookie receivers. He doesn't. He wants people to see the field like he does. He wants them to look at it the way he's looking at it. If you don't, he gets mad. Well, a lot of those guys don't have that. And then there was also this kind of Aaron Rodgers running some kind of shadow offense with Green Bay, and he's got his hand signals. Then he's brought guys over with him. Lazard's over there with him. But I think more than I think he still has the talent to play as a top 10 quarterback. My main concern this year, I know Hackett's over there, and he's going to be running the offense he wants to play, but he's running it with all new guys. And that spacing and that timing, if that's not right, like that concerns me more than him physically at this point.
Fantastic, man, amigo. Thank you. Yeah, I think we kept it under half an hour, so that was good. That was good. Because you hit everything, and so I think I think there's a lot to really gain from that, and it's gonna be interesting. I'm really intrigued how that combination with him and Garrett Wilson and what you said about because it took a while for him to build it with Devontae Adams, and they're obviously very different receivers. Devontae's a bigger target, so that's something interesting. But man, this is awesome. Well, Dusty, one more time. Let's close up shop on this one, and I'm gonna let you got some great stuff coming up. Point them to all that great stuff coming up.
Yeah, Cheesehead TV, Packer Report. I got a weekly series, cross my fingers, weekly series of Packer Report going on. Most of it kind of reviewing what the Packers have done either this past year or in the floor era, and then weekly on Pack-A-Day. I actually was just on. I was very, very lucky. I'll talk about this for the rest of my life. This past week, I was able to talk to Mina Kimes on the Wednesday edition of the Pack-A-Day podcast, and we talked Packers offense a little bit because she's been gassing them up a bit, and so I had her on for about 20 minutes, and we talked about Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, and so that was highlight. I'm just leaving. I'm retiring now. I'm not doing any more football stuff. I hit my peak, man.
Yeah, John Elway, Peyton Manning win the Super Bowl. I'm out.
That's right.
My mic drop. It's good. And I love the way her mind works. She really sees the game in a great way. She is so good. So I'm glad. Oh yeah, Mina is great. Mina, was her dog on too? So
nah, she moves around too much. I had to keep her in the other room, unfortunately.
That's fantastic. So, oh man. Well, once again, thank you to our guest, Dusty, for dropping a little knowledge on Aaron Rodgers. So thankful for that. Also, Familia, one more time, make sure you go to underdogfantasy.com, use that promo code Familia23, get matched up to that first $100. And if you haven't already, go to YouTube, give us a like and subscribe, Familia. Also, if you want the audio, Apple, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, just subscribe there and go to familiafb.com for original content. Muchas gracias again to Dusty. And remember, todos somos familia. Salud.